everyone, welcome to the show. My name is Amanda Ostrander. I am a teacher-turned-homeschool mom, and this is Raising A to Z, a place where we talk about all things homeschooling. And today I am going to share with you what is in my morning basket. About 3 years ago, we got introduced to the idea of a morning basket, which was a basket full of things to start your morning with. And we fell in love with the concept. I love the concept. And I know there are different ways to do morning basket. I know some people have really intricate baskets that have games and activities and puzzles and, cue cards and flashcards and all kinds of things. And if that's your basket, amazing. And their baskets change on a monthly basis. And if that is you, kudos. That is not how my basket works. I do not have the mental power, brain power to change my basket that frequently. I do not have the mental energy to do that. I like to think of my morning basket, my personal morning basket, as more of a waking up the brain kind of situation. I find that's a little bit more what I'm going to do. And the less I have to think about things, the better. Things that I can just open and go and just always be something new is kind of how I run my morning basket. So I have a bunch of things in here that we can just read and look through and do. So I just have a bunch of stuff in here that I find makes doing something in the morning easy. So let's start with what's in my basket and I'll tell you why I love it. So we're going to start with the word of the day. This is a Merriam-Webster Kids Word of the Day. We've had this for 3 years. It's fantastic. I will say it's probably great for kids under the age of 9, 10. We've done it for 3 years. And so I actually have ordered a new one that has a new set of words. It's almost identical, but it's just the Collins dictionary version. And I think from what I've read, the words are a little bit slightly more difficult, slightly more intricate. So we love the Word of the Day book, but the Collins one just hasn't arrived yet. It's literally in the mail coming. But what I like about books like this is I don't have to think. You'll notice that this is a theme with a lot of the books I have. They're don't think books. So I just say, what is today's date? Today's date is, let's just pick a date, September 15th. And we just open the book. You go to September 15th and it tells me exactly what to do and read. That's what I like. I just have to know what day it is. Ooh, September 15th is in a section of pages, a section called Vivid Vocabulary. It's a bunch of different colors. And our word is flaxen, resembling flax in pale, soft straw color. And then it has a little cool fact. In Charles Dickens' book, David Copperfield, the title character describes his crush on a girl with a round face and curly flaxen hair. So it has a little moment about the word with the word in it. And I like that. We read it. What I like to do with this is I'll read the word and then I'll tell them what kind of word it is. If it's an adjective, a noun, verb, adverb, those kinds of things. And then I'll get the kids to try to guess what it is. What do you think the definition is? Then I read them the definition. I use the little story bit that's there. And then I try to get them to use it in a sentence. Use the word themselves in a sentence. And they just verbally tell me that. So Word of the Day books are great. I have this one. The new one is coming. My kids are really excited because we've done this one 3 years in a row. I'm trying to move on. Yeah. Next thing that I like to do, again, you'll see that this is theme. I have my Sing a Song of Seasons book. I like to do a quick poetry read. I have a couple poetry books and maybe I'll do a short about with some poetry book options. But I like this Sing a Song of Seasons because it's nature poems for each day of the year. Again, book where I don't have to think. So we just open it up and we go to September 15th. And today's poem is right there. Super easy. Love that for me. It's Plum by Tony Mitten. Plum. Don't be so glum, Plum. Don't feel beaten. You were made to be eaten. But don't you know that deep within, beneath your juicy flesh and flimsy skin, you bear a mystery, you hold a key, you have the making of a whole new tree. So I like to have a little poem like this. I've been reading these a lot, but now that Alexi is getting better and Zoe is getting better, they do a little bit more reading. So Alexi can read poems like that for us, which is wonderful. Again, another book where I don't have to think. But if you don't have a poetry book, there's lots of poem books out there. It's like a quick little get your brain going moment. Another thing that I like, again, as a get your brain going moment, I love little fact books. National Geographic kids have all these like really cool books. The Brain Candy, I think there's like 12 of these. So there's tons of them. They're not super expensive. I like this one because it's Canadian and I'm a Canadian nerd. And we just open it up and read whatever the fact is. And then the next day we open the next page and do the next section of pages. And that seems to work pretty well for us. My kids do read these now, which is kind of cool. And it's nice to like learn about new things in a way that's like fun, especially since like the Brain Candy is always like weird stuff, and like just fun facts. And this one is always like weird, but true. So like today's fact would be things like a restaurant in Toronto once made an ice cream cake that weighed as much as 5 rhinoceroses, or that a group of elk is called a gang, right? Like just weird things. My kids think it's funny. They get to pick which ones they want to read. And they're great. And they have tons of these, like the weird but true. On the back here, they have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19. They have like 19 of these. And the Canadian one's not even on there. So there's got to be at least 20 of them. And they're about $10 a book, which is phenomenal. So yeah, we've read the Brain Candy one. They loved that. We've read the weird, that we're working on this one right now. They're fantastic. Other things that I have in my book basket, I have this Countries of the World book. We've actually got this last year and we've really been enjoying it. So what we do, we got it like late last year. It was like a new add-on kind of mid-year. But we just go through and we read like one country and learn about one country per day. Just like a quick little, this is the country of Sudan and the country has an unsettled past and it was split into 2 nations, and we learn about the dancing dervishes and the wall of sand, and then we move to South Sudan, and then like the next day we'll do Ethiopia, and like we just do kind of one country a day. It's a little bit of geography. It's a little bit of like learning about the world in a way that just feels very like digestible. And if you're like, oh, this sounds really cool, they have a bunch of other ones that are very similar. There's an animal one, there's a dinosaur one, trees and leaves. They also have, I don't think we're going to start this year, but they do have a history one too, which history buff in me loves. But speaking of history buff, this is a newest edition. I was very excited when I found this. This is Canada 365. This is a historical Canadian factoid every day of the year, which I'm thrilled with. So excited with. Just like the word of the day book and the poem of the day book, this is the same thing, but it is like Canadian information. Let me see. Okay. So this is the picture for, again, because we're just doing September 15th. And the little caption, it'll tell you about things that happened on September 15th. It was the birthday of ballet director, choreographer, and teacher Gwyneth Lloyd. It was September 15th. Writer and actress Fay Wray was born on September 15th in 1907. And so was actor Scott McNeil in 1962. So those are people who were born on those days. And then in this one, they're showing the dressing the wounds in the trench during the Battle of Courcelette. And it has in 1916, the 22nd Battalion from Quebec, the 25th from Nova Scotia, and the 26th from New Brunswick captured Courcelette, France during the Somme offensive in the First World War. And continues on. And so it's like a little historical factoid of something that happened on September 15th. Isn't that cool? And like there's like other things, like September 16th, it shows the first female troop for the RCMP. So it has a picture of the first woman who was ever in the RCMP in 1974. Again, it has birthdays, and then it has another thing, also on this day. In 1842, first Baldwin-LaFontaine cabinet was formed in the province of Canada, which is kind of cool. They convinced the British government that legislative powers should reside in the hands of the colony's elected representatives. So basically they like started democracy in Canada on September 16th in 1842. So this has been a new edition. The history buff in me is thrilled with this. I love it. I'm so excited. Then what do? We have, this is something we started last year when we were sick and we've fallen in love with it. I got an iPad that I've been using a lot more for school this year. And I was telling people a couple weeks ago in one of my videos about planning that I've been using it as like a place to put my parent manuals instead of printing them all off, which has been wonderful. But what my kids have absolutely fallen in love with is word games. So we've been playing word games. So we'll sit down and we'll do word games. So the first word game that we'll do, we do Wordle. This is not the New York one. This is a different, like slightly more chill one. But we love playing Wordle. I've noticed that the kids have started to pick up on patterns. Okay, so if there's a consonant in the beginning, it can only be either a consonant blend or it has to be a vowel. Like things like that has really come in handy. And they've learned a lot of spelling. So we love to play Wordle. The other one we like is Wordscape. I'll show you because I think people know what Wordle is. You have so many chances to like guess the word. So it's kind of like a crossword puzzle. So you can only use the letters that are in this circle. So like I can go 3 and it's going to pop up. I can go there and that'll pop up. But that's like all the words here are connected to these 3 letters. So I can go tree and here, oops, and her and the and V. Like I solved it. I'm pretty fast at it. I'm not gonna lie. That was actually a super easy one, surprisingly. But my kids, I let my kids do it entirely and they love it. So the other one we love is, what's it called? Word salad, where you have like, it's almost like a crossword puzzle like this, but you have to, it has like a clue at the top. I don't want my kids to like, or be mad if I use that, if I do that game. They have a couple free ones, birds, right? Because they won't be mad when I do that. So you have your little like game here, and this one's called birds. So you know that all the answers are going to be birds, and then we'll do, I can see eagle, and it fills in pigeon, and you go through until you've solved all the words that are there, and some of them you can use multiple times, and you are like just going around connecting the letters. So it's kind of like crossword, but you're not looking for words in order. You have to like actually put the letters together. My kids love it. It is harder than you think, and you're spending a lot of time reading, like doing the reading and like figuring it out. And they're learning a lot of vocabulary words. It's fantastic. Also, they don't really realize it's brain power. And that one's timed, which is like the fun thing of trying to like do it as quickly as you can. So we've been playing those 3 word games. My kids love it. And then I also just, in my morning basket, I keep our novel study book here because we've actually started doing our morning basket in bed. I'm not even gonna lie. I just take this and we just sit in bed and we do it because it's just like so much easier. We're just like all cuddled in and we're just like, we read the things and they share the books back and forth, and then we all cuddle in and we read our book, whatever our reading is, like our chapter, and then we're done. And then we get up and we start our day. That's like our transition to go get dressed for the day. This is currently our novel study, Brave Writer Novel Study. So I just keep that in here because we read it together. And yeah, that's everything in my morning basket. Typically, I know that was a lot and it took us like, actually, I think that's a pretty good example. That took us about, I've been talking for about 15, 20 minutes. The whole morning basket doesn't take very long because you're reading 3 little facts out of this. You're reading 1 section out of this, 1 section out of this, 1 section out of this, 1 section out of this. It ends up being like maybe 15, 20 minutes. And then and then I add in the novel study, and this will be anywhere from like 10 to 15 minutes, depending on like obviously the book itself, and what we have to read that day. So like I found this one's been pretty short. The sections have been pretty short. So how long's the next chapter? And this one's only, oh, it's actually a bit longer, but it's very big font. So this one's been taking about 15-20 minutes. So our full morning basket, if we were to do everything, including our morning reading, which we have to do anyway, is about 30 to 40 minutes, give or take, which is not bad. And then like I said, after that, we have breakfast, we crawl into my bed and we do our morning basket. And then once our morning basket is done, it's like the start of our day. So then they go off, they get their pajamas, brush their teeth, and they meet me at the table and we get started on our actual like sit down work. And that's been working for us. Like I said, a lot of this is stuff that I don't have to think about. Sometimes I will change a few things out. Like I do have a selection of like, I have some I Spy books that I'll have out there, that are like specific to different seasons. Like I have a Halloween one, I'll pull that one in October. I have a Christmas one that I'll pull out in Christmas. Sometimes there's different, I have like some, what are they called? I have some like Professor Noggin games that I might pull out, and we'll read a couple of those fun facts. But like, yeah, for the most part, this is like the core foundation of my morning basket for the year. And I'll make some adjustments here and there, but like, yeah, it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to change all the time. You can change just one thing and like just swap one thing out. It's fine. Morning basket is supposed to be a fun and easy way to get a little bit in a short amount of time, but also like to wake you up and get you started on the day. So it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be easy. And yeah, I'll put links to everything down below. And yeah, let me know if you guys do a morning basket. Tell me down below, what are your favorite things to put in your morning basket? Because I think it'd be great to add some cool stuff. Thank you for watching. Make sure that you subscribe so you get notifications when I put out new videos. Consider becoming a member because you get extra cool bonuses like early releases, bonus videos, coupons, free downloads, like cool stuff like that. Make sure you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.